couple weeks ago, a buddy of mine and I were sitting around a campfire and we were throwing together all different types of ideas for content and what the best in the world are doing. And I think we stumbled across a really particular roadmap. So it's in 8 parts. We'll go through all of them and then break down each one by one. So the first is people do business with people that they know, people that they like, and people that they trust. The second is that valuable content drives awareness, then attention, and then action. The third is that content starts to build an engaged audience. And as you continue to engage that audience and provide value, you start to build a community where others are being invited in. The fifth is that this community starts to convert into clients. Some of them will start to become clients of yours. And those initial clients, so number 6, will provide you with actionable data that you will then leverage in very specific ways. Number 7 is that data that you're collecting from these initial clients will allow you to start the process of making a model, which is creating your ideal client profile. And number 8 is that once you have started to see the path that those clients are taking, you can start to repurpose the content that was most valuable to them and make more of it so that you can reach out to that audience. All right, so let's go through each of these just a little bit more in detail to flesh out what we're really trying to get at. So number 1 is that people do business with people that they know, that they like, and that they trust. Now, Psych 101, that's pretty much the basics. Trust facilitates trade. If you haven't purchased anything on Amazon from a seller or a product that you've experienced before, what's the first thing that you do? You go to the reviews to see if other people know them, like them, and trust them. So that's pretty much the basics. So number 2 is valuable content drives awareness, attention, and action, which is really just bringing in elements of number 1, because knowability equals awareness, likability is driving attention, and then trustability is how people take action. Value is thrown around a lot. Not many people know how to actually define it. What it means to me is that it's an equation that has 4 principles. The first is, are you able to clearly define what success would look like? Number 2 is how likely is the opportunity to succeed. Number 3 is how much time it will take. And the 4th part is how much pain or how much effort is going to be required on the side of the client to be able to achieve it. So calculate those 4 things. If you're 4 out of 4, you're providing a lot of value. If you're 0 or 1 out of 4, there's not much value being provided. Number 3 is that the content is creating an engaged audience. This isn't talking about the features and benefits of your software or the system or your process. This is storytelling 101. It's telling people that others have trusted you, that you were able to understand their pain, that you were able to create a solution that addressed that pain, and that positive results came from the experience of working with you. So when you're able to clearly communicate those things, you're starting to create an engaged audience. And so number 4 is that engaged audience starts to become a collaborative community. Now, what I mean by a collaborative community is that others are going to be invited in. And so an example of this, probably the best one that I've seen, is that a friend of mine, Jamal Reimer, went ahead about 3 or 4 years ago and started posting content about how he sold multiple 8-figure deals when he was a seller at Oracle. What that did was it invited a whole bunch of different sellers from all over the world to start asking questions. He started providing value, digging into the story, telling more details about certain elements of it. Just putting the content out there created an audience that drove into a community. And so through his community, he was able to start doing master classes. He actually took the master class and created a book from it. And then that book deepened his audience even further to the point where he was able to establish the enterprise sellers community, where sales representatives worldwide provide value to each other to try and help everybody succeed. Number 5 is some of that community will start to convert into clients. Now, you might think, hey, my job is done. Actually not. This is where the real work begins, because this is where you use 2 ears and only 1 mouth. You start to listen way more than you were doing before. To build an audience, to establish trust and credibility, you have to be speaking a lot. This is now where you're starting to listen. What was the information that they found valuable that helped them bridge that chasm from being just somebody that knew about you to somebody that trusted you enough to do business with you? Number 6 is that your initial clients will start to provide actionable data that you can leverage in specific ways. This is a very complex process, but I'll boil it down in 3 actionable steps. The first is that you segment your client base for your top clients. Number 2 is you create a model with that you will then go and train against content distribution platforms, social media, Google, all those things. You'll start to train that model against those algorithms to create lookalike audiences. And number 3 is whenever you have those lookalike audiences, you're trying to figure out what content is working most to continue to build the audience and start to provide more value to the community. So number 7 is that data that you're collecting will allow you to refine the ideal client profile, the archetype that you're establishing. You've already created a persona. Now what you're doing is refining it even further. You're getting more and more detailed. I'll give you an example. If some of the people that you work with are only getting negligible results, 20% returns, 50% returns on their investment, and others are getting 10, 15, 20 times returns, you're obviously going to continue to parse and segment that client base to understand more about how the people that are getting 10, 15, 20 times returns, those are the people that you're going to continue to train the algorithms against to find more of and continue to refine your lookalike audience. And finally, number 8 is how you're reprioritizing and repurposing content to find more of your ideal client profile. You've gone through this entire list from 1 to 7, and really all you do is start the process over. What you're doing is taking all the learnings from items 1 through 7 and then determining what content drove the most value for the people that are in your ideal client profile. And that is what you will then continue to go and develop more content of, that you will then go back and start the process all over again. So that's the playbook, steps 1 through 8. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, shoot me a message directly, give me a call. I'd love to chat about this further with you.